Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It's me, Raul Alejandro Mendoza, or the Nerdy Chicano. Either way, how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back for another installment of Between the Frames as we continue our look through Krzysztof Kieslowski's Dekalog. That is brought to you by the Criterion Collection. And of course, in our last two installments, we've looked at the first two of the Dekalog. And today, we're going to be looking at none other than Dekalog 3. Dekalog 3 is the third in this set, and it is of course still on this first disc for this set, and we're going to go ahead and be talking about that today. But I want to thank you all so much for the love on the last two videos as we looked at those first two installments. Of course, if you want to get early access to this video or other videos that I bring to the channel along with some extra stuff like video essays, go over to www.patreon.com/thenerdychicano and you can go ahead and find all that wonderful stuff. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're leaving a like on the video and make sure you're subscribing to my channel and turning on that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the stuff that I do on this channel and you don't miss a single lick of content. Now, of course, I hope that everyone is doing well and I hope that everyone is staying safe as it seems that the COVID cases are going up again and things are getting a little out of hand. But of course, cinema is always there for us, and today we're going to be talking about this film, and I'm so excited because I am loving more of this set the more that I travel through it and the more that I watch more films. And I'm just so amazed that the work that Criterion and the labs were able to put onto this set. So without further ado, of course, there is no fancy introduction for Dekalog 3, but let's talk a little bit about what Dekalog 3 is about. Dekalog 3 is about the third commandment, which is remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, and thou shalt not commit adultery. In this film, we're kind of following this man who's a taxi driver who's going home to spend his Christmas Eve with his family. But of course, things are not that simple. He finds himself with a woman that he used to have an affair with 3 years ago and who wants help to find her husband because his taxi cab was stolen. And of course, usually you would think that it doesn't really matter, why does this man have to think about? But the man feels sympathy for the woman because the taxi cab is their only source of income that they bring to the house. So he spends Christmas Eve instead of with his family helping this woman find her husband. And throughout their journey, they keep looking for him and they go places where dead ends, or they meet absolutely nothing but dead ends, or they find little to no information about the taxi cab. And as we progress more, we find out that this man had actually left this woman. He left this woman. He's had a different family already for a couple of years, and she only wanted to see her ex and spend time with him. And the man throughout the journey kind of feels like a little bit of temptation to kind of reignite that flame, but overall he views this as a lesson in which his temptation is being challenged, but also his commitment to his family and to his work. So far, this is my least favorite in the set, and that is not to say that I didn't like this one. I like it, but I think that it takes too much time to kind of like unwrap itself. No pun intended, because this is about Christmas. But I think that the film does take a little bit of time too much time to unwrap itself and kind of unveil what it's trying to get done. And when that is being done within the span of 56 minutes, that's a problem for me, because I feel like if you don't have your pacing right in 56, how are you supposed to do it when you have an hour and 56 minute film with when you're tackling stuff like this? So I thought the film's story was interesting. I do like films that kind of feature characters who are kind of like rekindling their lives and reminiscing on what they used to have, and films like the Before trilogy or One Wonderful Sunday from director Akira Kurosawa. I like films like that a lot. But when it came to this one, I felt that we were kind of like ignoring the inevitable before we actually get there. And when we get there, the gravity of the situation doesn't feel as heavy as it should. And I find the cinematography to be fantastic as well. This episode was done by none other than cinematographer Piotr Sobonitsky. I don't know how to read that, but another different cinematographer. I especially liked how this film cinematography looked during night scenes, and of course, Presner's score is just as fantastic as it is on the last ones. I do like the fact that Christoph from Dekalog 1 does make an appearance in here in this film, so I'm glad that he didn't end up dying or something like that. He didn't take his life because of the pain of having to deal with loss. So there's little things like that that do kind of like catch the attention. But overall, I found this film to be good. It's not amazing, it's not okay, but it's good. And that's not a bad thing per se, because I think that Krzysztof Kieslowski, whenever he has stuff that is so minimal, it still has a way of speaking so much volumes to the thematic elements of what he's trying to come across with and kind of tell you about. Now, let's talk about this restoration. So, this one, once again, I look, y'all, I'm not a shill, I don't, what's it called? I'm not paid by Criterion or anything like that. I like what I see. And this is another example of that. I found this film to be beautifully shot. And the way they were able to bring out those colors, especially during the night scenes, were very aesthetically pleasing. The contrast and just the red and greens of those Christmas tones are exemplified by the restorative process on this film. I just was amazed that everything that Krzysztof Kieslowski's Dekalog 3 was done by the lab that worked on this. I think that they just were able, once again, to take those elements from the 35mm print and were able to create a beautifully rich new life out of the elements of the film before. Skin tones and just the apartments and the buildings, they just look amazing. And I'm amazed at what you can get out of these type of film stocks that mostly everybody usually calls them like, oh, they're muted, they're depressing, they look so sad, they're void of color. They don't give me any reason to kind of like want to watch because the colors aren't popping. But on this TV with that 4K upscaling on this 4K player and this 4K TV, it looks fantastic. And I'm left satisfied again because they've done another incredible job with the old print and bringing it to this 4K digital restoration. Now, the audio is pretty much the same thing again. I like a lot of the clean and crisp audio, especially the atmospheric side of what you get in the city of, I don't remember what city this is based in, but whatever Polish city this is, when you're hearing, the caroling, when you're hearing the cars coming through, things like that are just so beautifully rich and they sound incredible. They did a great job at preserving that and making it a very clean and crisp audio restoration. And the music sounds fantastic from Presner again. They did a great job at being able to level that, and once again, they had the important value of making sure that the video and audio quality were just as and they're just as important as the video aspect. So once again, this is just another great addition to this box set, and I was left very satisfied. But the film just couldn't do enough for me that I've seen in the last two installments like Dekalog 1 and 2. Of course, to keep up to date with me and all things social media, make sure you follow me on Letterboxd, Serialized, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Nerdy Chicano. And of course, on TikTok at The Nerdy Chicano with an X instead of the CH, because somebody took that one, so I had to make it a little bit different. And I'm kind of convinced that I already had an account, so I think I need to find out whether somebody took that username or I just messed up. But of course, keep up to date with all the things that I do on the Nerdcore by going to thenerdcore.com and checking us out on YouTube and on Twitch at the Nerdcore. And of course, I will see you all on the next one when we talk about Dekalog 4, as we continue on with the Dekalog from Krzysztof Kieslowski that is brought to us by the Criterion Collection. And without further ado, my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. I'll catch you all on the